Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Herbie Hancock, for that intro. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for the kickoff session of 1455's second annual Summer Literary Festival. I'm Sean Murphy. I'm the executive director of 1455, and I'm thrilled to be here, to not let current circumstances in the world prevent us from putting this event on virtually. I think we're going to end up having a more inclusive and exciting event. And I couldn't think of a better way to start it with a local organization that I support and am on the board of. I asked Robert Bettmann, who directs that amazing organization that you'll hear more about momentarily, to be involved, and ideas were immediately accepted, which was to celebrate with this first session winners of the DC Poetry Project. I'm thrilled, and we have Aaron Holmes here, who's going to moderate this panel. He is a community organizer and education program manager. I'm going to let Aaron say a little more about himself and these poets and the Day 8 organization. And before I turn the mic over, I'll say, if you're enjoying the content tonight, help us spread the word, spread it on social media, help spread the excitement, and enjoy yourselves. We'll look forward to hearing feedback. Without further ado, let me step out of the way. Aaron, I'm thrilled to have you here. Take it away, my friend.
Like, it's one of those things where you really want to celebrate Sean for that fantastic introduction. Thank you so very much. Right? Not only do I want to sort of celebrate Sean for that introduction, I also really want to take the time to celebrate 1455, which is doing wonderful work in the midst of COVID. In preparation for this particular panel, began reading about 1455, and you read their website and it says, "We believe in the magic of words and the transformative power of creativity and the collective imperative of building community." And these words take on a different meaning in this type of circumstance. You really do celebrate this self-described haven, which intends to unite people even at a distance, right? So without further ado, I want to make sure that we celebrate this organization before we get into anything. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, 1455, for having everybody today. Right now, it is at this particular point in the program where I would ask for some sort of applause or do some call and response, but we don't have that option today. Although there goes Mecca, who is one of our wonderful panelists that you will hear from today. This is going to be a really, really fun event. I hope that everybody is ready for some poetry. I want to say a few words about Day 8 before we get started. Day 8 is an organization that I fell in love with at introduction. The name Day 8 is this idea that we have the ability to create a new world every day, and everybody that you're going to see today embodies that with their words. The DC Poet Project is a project that Day 8 has been putting on for several years, and you're going to hear from all the winners today. They are from different backgrounds, walks of life. They use different rules with regard to their poetry, and today is going to be a lot of fun. Right now, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't sort of check and say, I hope you're doing well. I hope you have snacks and you're ready for a great show. Robert, who is, I don't believe that Robert is going to speak today. And if Robert Bettmann is not going to speak today, I have to say his name. He is the executive director of Day 8 and the person responsible for us all being here today. And I am thankful for that sort of opportunity, to be with you today. All right. So I got all of all the money out of the way, I think, right? We got all the advertisements out the way. I will be reminding you as poets come to the stage or the virtual stage that there are all products. So you will see me in the chat going, buy Jeff's books, buy Mecca's books, or when Mecca's book come out, which we are all very, very excited about. And without further ado, right, I want to introduce our first poet today, Jeff Johnson, who is actually a really, I like Jeff, right? Like you have to do these introductions for people and you don't always know them, but I'm a big fan of Jeff. Jeff is the 2018 Poet Project winner. He is a theater director, an actor, and public radio contributor. His debut collection, Love for Her, equally documents love relationships and Black life today. Maryland Poet Laureate Grace Cavalier described Love for Her, a real find. And I'm Miller wrote, these poems are filled with wit and wisdom, and I couldn't agree more. Without further ado, please give it up for Jeff Johnson.
Where's Jeff Johnson? I don't know where he is, but John Johnson's right
John
here.
Johnson.
John Johnson's right here. Hello, everyone. It's all good. You know, that's just the correction that happens when, you know, if we were in person, I would get upset, but because we're over Zoom, it's okay.
Right.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Johnson. And just, you know, we all are like behind screens right now, but I do want to tell you guys something that's really important. There's a teenager killing people. I don't know if y'all know that. And they say if this teenager doesn't kill you, you might end up on a ventilator. So people are scared and they got 172 rolls of Costco toilet papers, while other people are praying to the Lord to save their souls like a pair of 84 Jordans. I just write poems in my immune system to stay encouraged. And you know, some people, they don't want to stop. They want to go, but everything's shut down, so there are no go-goes. But people still Zooming, and parents got gray hairs from homeschooling. You know, there are many theories about this teenager, so I only listen to D. Nice and Tony Fauci. Our president suggested disinfectant. Now, we know that's strange. That's like promising a black man's sight if he drank a cup of mumbo sauce. So, and plus, you know, black people, the only Trump we mess with involves a handful of spades at the cookout. So I'm going to stay home and I'm going to play spades. Although I can't wait to go outside again and sit across from Meridian Park like Josephine Butler. I can't wait to sit in Malcolm X Park and listen to the djembe and eat a banana and watch the dancers move like Josephine Baker. But until there's more testing, I'm gonna stay 6 feet away because there's a killer, a teenager killing people. All right, there we go. Thank you, everybody. That's my coronavirus poem. I feel like a lot, you know, there's a joke amongst artists, man, like after this is all over, we got to sit through a whole bunch of plays and poems about coronavirus. So because we all have written about these times, you know what I mean? So that's my ode to Corona and how it's affected our lives and the paranoia that exists and the politics and all of the things that exist with that particular thing. All right. Okay, so this next piece is going to be from the book. I don't know how we can get that Love for Her. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, anyway, I'm sure you can get this through Day 8 website, or Robert can type something in the chat. So another thing that is kind of hot right now, or people are talking about is, as you can see my little one running around in the background, is when schools are going to open back. Are they going to open back up? Will it be distance learning? You know, does your household have enough technology? And do these young people have the attention spans for sitting in front of a computer? Do us adults have the attention spans to continue to do this? So this is called DCPS, and it just is, you know, reminiscent of my days in DCPS. Lee, can you stop dribbling the ball though, please, so Daddy can read his phone? Because they can't hear if you're dribbling the ball. All right. All right. So I had a history teacher that kept it real with me when I was in high school. He said, life is a big chessboard, and they're going to treat you like pawns and peons, colonized by Europeans. Your Black life matters. You are a human beyond. He said, this world has strange customs, and most people wear masks like costumes, outfits like Halloween. For example, the other day I was dressed up as a black man, and I got pulled over by a man dressed up as a cop. I knew immediately I should have worn my white man in khaki outfit because I would have been I knew immediately I should have worn my white man in khaki outfit because the interaction would have ended in him giving me candy corn instead of tension. So I said, officer, I know it's night and I'm traveling home diagonally like a bishop to my castle, and I'm trying to do it without hassle. I like to make it to the 8th rank to my queen because I live 64 squares away right off of Martin Luther King. But the officer was like many of you. He didn't know how to play chess, nor did he know how to turn the body camera on that was on his chest. He didn't have the same history teacher either. The same history teacher that said life is a big chessboard. They're going to treat you like pawns and peons, colonized by Europeans. Your Black life matters. You are a human beyond. So there we go. My ode to DCPS. I'm a native Washingtonian. I'm a DCPS product, but I did have a history teacher that kind of kept us equipped and told us, how important it was to understand where we came from and that we didn't just come off of boats and that we are ancient people. So that's another poem that kind of honors that, and I feel speaks to the time. I'm gonna read another one in the same theme. This is the theme that all folks are going to hear, especially from people of color, about this Blackness. I definitely feel seen right now. You know what I mean? In the political world, I feel like we are, but there was a book that you guys probably know called Invisible Man. And I feel like oftentimes people of color felt invisible in this country. And I feel like that is the essence in a lot of our poetry. And so this one is a piece called Coffee Shop that was written after these men had the police called on them in Pennsylvania, and they were arrested for doing what anybody would do at a Starbucks, maybe use the Wi-Fi and wait for a friend. So this is called Coffee Shop. Excuse me, may I have a macchiato, minus the racism and gentrification? Oh, and hold the dairy, because I'm lactose intolerant. I'm no longer tolerant. I want my teachers strapped with the truth in tank tops, because then they can bear arms. America still drops bombs, war. So much beef and it can't be swallowed by vegetarians. And so many bitches, it can't be vaccinated by veterinarians. You're probably judging me for my content and not my character. You see, this poem had dreams too. And these dreams are a little different than MLK. This poem had a dream that it was sitting in the car and Jesus was in the back. And we nicknamed Jesus Black because Jesus Black. And riding shotgun was Harriet, and Marcus Garvey was driving the Cadillac Chariot. This poem had a dream that Tamir Rice never met Tupac. But maybe there's too much caffeine in my macchiato, or maybe it's just a little too melanated. All right, there we go. That's Coffee Shop. And as I'm flipping through the pages, man, these are all connected. So I'm gonna read one more, and I think this is quite relevant to the theme of things, and just how we feel. How I feel. Let me say how I feel. And this is we live in a political town in DC, and I think oftentimes we when people talk about incarceration and things like that, most of those crimes, I mean, they are, there's different layers to the America system. And I don't know if you guys know who Bernard Madoff and Alan Stanford were, but these are like these investment bankers, these, who defrauded folks out of a lot of money, but their lives weren't the same as maybe the folks that I know in my community who may have gotten incarcerated for something of far lesser severity. So it's called America. It says, America, I'll start with the question. What is the difference between Chicago and Vietnam? Niggas don't get killed in Vietnam no more. They get killed in Iraq and Afghanistan fighting a rich man's war. Alan Stanford and Bernard Madoff with the Lehman Brothers, and the stock market plummeted. And for a second, the rich almost knew what it was like to be poor like the south side of DC, Philly, and Baltimore, but not really. No bankers traded in cufflinks for handcuffs. But if you look at the prison system, you think the African Americans invented mortgage fraud and stock derivatives. So that's just one reason I don't stand for your anthem, because the 14th Amendment came with a prenup. I can no longer be immune. I'm allergic to racism like a bag full of peanuts. So as white privilege is challenged, I understand why so much money goes to defense. I understand why you want to build a wall and a fence. In Arizona, iced tea ain't sweet anymore. It's bitter, bitter like the strange fruit that hung from poplars. Everybody on social media got a hashtag and want to be popular. And in the end, I agree that all lives do matter. All lives do matter, just not in America. So there you go. I'm gonna end it on that note. I hope you guys are inspired, and I touched you, even if you disagree, that it allows for us to have a healthy debate because I think we're at a pivotal time in this country. Thank you.
Hey, right? Like, I feel like I'm gonna be the one doing all the clapping, but you definitely deserve it, John. Thank you so much for sort of gracing us with your words. You know, you're right.
No problem, Caleb.
Hey, listen. Hey, buy Jeff Johnson stuff too. Both of them. Support both of them. I threw John's link in the chat. Please support John. He made a wonderful point at the end, and that point cannot be overlooked. I think the definition of good art is art that starts a conversation, and I think you did that. I really appreciate the way you sort of called COVID like a teenager, like the 19 part. Shout out to you, man. Like, that is the power of creativity and words that we were talking about at the beginning. So thank you for that. We are going to move forward in the program. I want to introduce this next very, very dynamic poet. Her name is Mecca Verdell. So Mecca was the 2020 winner of this project, the most recent project in which I hosted. And I really want you to know that you're in for a treat. You can't really see like Mecca in this small screen, but when you see her in person, she is small in terms of frame, but she is has such a powerful message. I'm so grateful that we will get to see her today. So without further ado, the 2020 Poet Project winner, Mecca Verdell, is the author of a forthcoming collection. To watch her award-winning reading, view a blog post about Verdell on Day 8's website. Verdell won the Brave New Voices Poetry Slam in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 Southern Fried Regional Poetry Slam, and placed fourth in the 2019 International World Poetry Slam. Without further ado, 1455, please give it up for Mecca Verdell.
Thank you. I never heard anybody call you by my last name like that. I'm like, oh, I must really be an author now. So I'm gonna ride on Mr. Johnson's coattails and talk about Blackness. I'm just gonna go in because I really don't know how much time I have. People gotta tell me when to shut up. So okay. Duck, you autocorrect. You keep playing with me, keep acting like I ain't said what I said, no phone. I said nigga. Not night, nigga. I said slave, not space. You keep messing up my poem. Keep acting like the white people who made you trying to change my conversations to what you thought was right, wrong. Got my tongue feeling imprisoned in my phone like I'm about to catch a case, but let me not. Because ain't to be black, to look back at a sentence and see something wrong, something not add up. Supposed to say 10 days, but now you got 10 years in an auto-correctional facility that is my phone plan. Come on, Knight. Nigga, you are the white friends I don't have. Always correcting my sentence, always correcting my ebonics while using it. Want me to chill on that black talk because you want a good night, a safe space. You want a black person who corrects themselves in the presence of whiteness. Automatically tell me why autocorrect. Every time I tell you my name is Mecca, you grip on the whip and ask, did you mean Megan? No. See, autocorrect just wants order, no. Ownership. Autocorrect just wants paradise, no. Privilege. In the news where every black face is autocorrected into a mugshot in the neighborhoods, where gentrification is autocorrected into reestablished in history, where history is autocorrected by the victors in politics, where the only thing that flips faster than autocorrect are white allies, and I say no. I say I am correct. I am right answer. I am what I am. I said what I said, nigga. And you know what? My phone finally says nigga, and I'm starting to think it shouldn't. Thank you. That was my first piece. So with that, I do want to thank you. I do want to do one of the poems from my upcoming book, and I actually was able to do this for everyone at the event, because I mainly talk about family. So talk about being black and family, talk about being black in life. Everything's about blackness, though, coming from me. So here it is. Every Black house runs a thrift shop. You can tell by the way we trade trauma like old clothing, and in my house, we are bursting at the seams because of the bags of clothes we carry. I still have the pajamas I was molested in. And no matter how many times they end up in the laundry, they will never be clean enough to give up. Like I did, I told him I didn't want to go in no closet. Not only did I see his skeletons, I became one. Every caress on my breast felt like hanger being pushed in my chest. I told my mom that this shirt was too big for me to handle, that these hand-me-downs got too much space for curious kissing cousins to hand you up bad memories, and all she can do was take my shirt to be washed, to be baptized, to be pressed and prayed, gave me another to cover up in. But though these clothes come in PTS and D one size fits all, see, my mom knows abuse like the back of her dress. I just wish she would have told me what it looked like before my cousins put the same one on me. We still know how to laugh. They make fun of my height, how I would never grow out of old clothes owned by my mother and her mother and her mother's mother. My father forgets every time I tell him, leaving me in a pile of healing that I have to make my own responsibility. But how do you fold a memory? And if every Black house runs a thrift shop, why aren't we giving anything away to be burned like the plague? Let love and therapy be a flamethrower. I'ma watch these pajamas twist and curl over the embers like the sleepless nights I've had, because they will never find their way on my kid. I will never prepare them to be a sheep in my clothing. God, make me a Salvation Army. The second hands lay on them, because they will never live in a thrift shop. Thank you all. Well, speaking of my dad, I've been writing a lot since we have been in quarantine, and this piece came to me literally, I don't even know when this manuscript was due. It was probably like maybe a week and a half before it was due. And I was like, I'm gonna just slide this in here. It was really the piece that really helped me start thinking about this a lot more seriously than I already was. So I'm gonna just get into it. One second. I'm sorry, y'all. Gotta make sure I can read. Oh my goodness, everybody, I'm so sorry. This digital world. If I had pages, everything would be great. I'm gonna get pages soon. I'm gonna have a book soon. All right. My father scans the grocery store, goes throughout the aisles, trying to remember my favorite snacks, knowing even if he chooses the right one, it will be the wrong one. Maybe he's not here for snacks. He is looking for an apology. Nothing else can make us full. I'm too old for junk food, and he is too old to understand that this is how love begins to starve, how daughters embrace famine. Is it hard to say I'm sorry because if you don't, you admit something? Surrender, sorrow, not remembering someone's favorite snacks as fingers, pass my phone number as he dials my mother for advice. I am home, trying to understand how we apologize in this house, how we wait out hurt between dinners, and hope that if we give pain enough rides to the mall, the outing will be enough of an outlet to reset. I always remember the gifts and never the humility, always feeling undeserving of them since he gave me half my life, but has been chipping away at it with every conversation neglected. My father comes home, never saying hello, but throwing me my favorite snacks, and I accept, since this is the only way we know how to forgive in our house. We give distant apologies we hope add up to the real thing. It's a technique that was never passed down. It's a redemption in practice. Traffic on the way to holy, along with several trips to the grocery store. Thank you. Oh, I have like all these little mini poems. I'm gonna just read one mini poem, and then I've got two more, and then I'm gone. I promise y'all, I'm gone. Okay, so this one mini poem I love to death, because people always say that I cry a lot. So I always gotta read it, because, okay, here it is. I found it. Things to unlearn, number 404. A common critique I get, you cry if the wind blows. Of course. Who else is going to remind me how to breathe and to move on? I cry for practice. It is the most important part of my day. I cry for breakfast. I cry for my mom. I have all the tears she had to hide from me. I cry so I cannot hide from me, my God, as the wind blows. I will not hide. I will cry for me. All right. And I think, how much time do I have? Do I have time for 2 more poems or just 1 more? I'm sorry.
Go for it, right? Like, we're all enjoying the show.
Okay.
My mom told me
I
never to tell
was watching show tunes earlier. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 more. I was watching show tunes earlier, so I don't want to bust out in song, and you know. All right. My favorite poems are always about my friends. So I am going to read my last 2 most favorite poems. Let me just, there it is. Keying when we wasn't supposed to be. I asked my friend, oh my God, why can't you whisper? And in a voice as full as his hair, he tell me, girl, I'm Dominican. Whispering don't exist for us. And my body vibrates in a silent laughter. The kind that gets caught in your chest with no chance of escaping. It makes me wonder why whispering is so easy for me. Why making my voice small enough is my first thought. Everything about me is appropriate. Everything about me is appropriate while being appropriate. My mouth knows 3 tongues, English, whispering, and silence, languages of the colonizer, and doesn't the devil speak in whispers, making every S stronger for the hissing. Whispering, it's not alert the predators. I hope every day Xavier's voice can be heard from his lips to God's ears. I hope it is a noise that never stops catching attention prey. He never get used to silence, or is silence the way loud people like us are. I always show what my mouth can do because I'm a Black girl and sometimes told I don't exist, that I nor our relationship should resemble a damned whisper when it's made of bright ass colors, loud like 2 friends keying when they're not supposed to be. We are living loud as hell while the world whispers we aren't supposed to be. I love that poem, and I love my friend Xavier because Xavier is loud. Let's just get that out of the way right now. And y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed everything. I'm gonna get into my last poem. This poem is for all my friends because a lot of my friends who are Black, we don't really believe in the longevity of our lives, which is very unfortunate and sad. And it's a real truth about just being Black and growing up Black. And when one of our friends passed away, we didn't know what to feel. We didn't know what to feel. And I guess we couldn't help but feel hopeless about our own lives. And this was really just a love letter to my friends and them living their lives. So I hope y'all enjoy it. To Aaron, I should have hugged you harder. I write poems differently now. My poems are written in holes, the in-between lines stretched open like a banshee screaming in hopes of breaking the half-empty glasses in me. Each word a kindling rock, both the stepping stone and the flame burning a bridge to who I was, sometimes burning me in the process, but I still see her across the island. She sends me paper plane memories saying, forget me not or you will find your way here again. And I'm scared I'll get there. My hands haven't finished a poem in some months now. And I've become a page half empty, an unfinished poem, crumbled and tossed, scrapped for its good lines and gone, and it's been harder to stretch myself into something full, desirable, familiar, and entertaining, something I didn't write for just me. But I performed the hell out of it though. My smile was bigger than spotlight. But when it goes out, it's dark out here, and everyone is gone except the front row of people who have always been there for me, even if I can't see them. In the distance, I hear scribbles like pen on paper, but it's them on paper ready to fight for me when I can't. And I forget because trust is a poem I've yet to memorize. And they've showed me in the heartbeat of their literature that a poem is never finished, it just simply stops moving. They know how to turn me into a paper boat, tell me I've cried too much and not to waste water, use all of this to get to the next island, so I write differently now. I write poems that look like them, and they look like a notebook full of the best unfinished poems. We all taking turns to put it all out on the line, protecting each other from those whose hands look like dirty erasers, look like they're so used to crumbling a perfectly good poem, and that's exactly who he is. Bounded together, we made of glittery black ink that looked like Odyssey, telling a story of what was and what could be. See, we love each other. And that's why it's so easy for us to keep loving other people, especially ourselves. Semicolons dancing on our milestones and not our tombstones. Not even God could end a poem on this day. I tell them, we gonna write it all down until it's a run-on sentence far past a finishing line, until it transcends from haiku to sonnet to something epic, until it sounds like a grandparent story, like and then, and then, and then, and then, until we stop moving without our permission. But for now, please hold my hand tight enough that space and time can't get through, and let's write something different today. Something someone can hear but can't smudge. Something that feels like forever. Something that will be. Thank you, everybody.
Woo! Right?
Thank
Thank you so very much for giving us that energy, for giving us that voice. I mean, I tried to say it when you were coming on, but it really is. I mean, even in a virtual space, you give us all something that we can feel, whether we're in our seats or like on our laptops. So thank you so very much for sort of gracing us with your words and sort of being unapologetic about Blackness.
I was a little apologetic because I was like, oh, I'm cursing and Susan is looking at me. But no, I appreciate all of y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We definitely appreciate you. Thank you so very much, Mecca, for blessing us with your talents. I also want to thank you for sort of giving all the folks who that we are going to start that session right at 8, and you just got lucky, right? Like, because this is day 8 that's taking place right now. And day 8 is an organization that is based in DC that is so happy to be with you today. We are bringing you 4 of the DC Poet Project winners. We have heard from John Johnson and Mecca Verdell, who you should be saying like your first and last name the whole time. It's important, right? Like, and we still have a few more folks to go. So thank you for joining us. I want to bring on our next speaker. Our next speaker is Susan Meehan. And like I had the pleasure of actually meeting Susan and Mecca on the same day. Susan is a fantastic poet who I appreciate. There's an intensity to her that is very, very difficult to deny. And you are in for a treat. So let me do the bio thing first, because that's what I'm supposed to do as a host, and then we'll get right into it. So the 2017 Poet Project winner, Susan Meehan, is the author of Talking to the Night. National Book Award winner Terrence Winch wrote, Talking to the Night is populated with works that grab your attention with their clarity and fierce honesty. I think he stole that like intensity and fierce thing from me. And Becca described Meehan as like Meehan knows where mythic, the deeper significance of human experience hides under the familiar and the familial. Susan is currently editing an interfaith poetry anthology on the topic of consolation and loss. Without further ado, please, everyone, put your hands together for Susan Meehan.
I'm very happy tonight. We had a little trouble earlier. My granddaughter disconnected our entire television system. We weren't sure we were going to get through it all, but we conquered that, and all is well. I'm happy to be here. Would you like?
We're glad to have you. Like it's so great that you're here, and I'm super excited about what you're going to do today. And for someone who just connected the internet, this background that you have going on is fantastic. I just it works.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start off with a poem about a fellow I used to work with. It's called The Bookman. I didn't work with him on this kind of stuff, though. He slowed his car down, wanting to see what books the guys were selling, wanting to see how good they were at selling the books they had stolen. He watched them flashing books at cars driving by, most cars pulling ahead fast, accelerating past the intersection, not understanding what was going down on that gray corner. He checked out their flash, checking who they eyed, what cars they turned their back on. He waved them close to scope their prices, knowing they had a habit to support and it wasn't book reading. He knew just how it was done, slipping the volume under the jacket, depending on a nice tweed, a beret, and an arty patter to dull suspicion. He asked them what books they had and how much they were asking for them. He knew just what kind of books could be stolen and easily sold. He had stolen to order to fill the library of persons whose book addiction was greater, needier than their honesty. He told them he had been a famous booster. He was the bookman and had surely taught their daddies the fine point of their trade. They turned away unimpressed, eyes only on the next car's possibilities. Next is Goddesses Incognito. We are not who you think we are. Underneath the drab, the daily, we are passionate goddesses parading in jewels, shimmering cloth that mirror our enticing hips. Underneath ragged watch caps, we are tender goddesses crowned in head wraps, tiaras, mantillas, bandanas that gracefully accentuate our nobility. Underneath blousy t-shirts, blazing ads in giant orange letters scrawled across our chests, we are opulent goddesses wrapped in a splendor of plaids, kente, batik, all rich in colors of which males don't even know the names, much less the significance. Behind plastic face masks that claim to guard us from infection, we are amusing goddesses, roaring out the music of joy, harmonies of silver giggles, cymbal crashing, organ pealed guffaws, in happy certainty of our right to pleasure given, pleasure taken. We are hidden where you expect us least. Show us due homage and we may flash you a glimpse into our hidden realm, or we may not. The unexpected entices goddesses, of course. Good fencers make good neighbors. Back in the days, if your apartment had been broken in on and your favorite things stolen, in my neighborhood, there was a solution, a spectacularly easy solution to getting your stuff back. Around the corner was a storefront called Bernie's, and Bernie's claimed to sell a lot of useful stuff. It did. It was your stuff. Bernie's was a much appreciated, strictly local convenience store, you might say. Everyone knew that sooner or later you'd be broken into in this neighborhood at that time. But instead of a hopeless search for your pilfered goodies, it was easy for us. All we had to do was drop into Bernie's, point out what we wanted back out of what had been ripped off from you and sold to Bernie for resale. We could simply buy our stuff back at a reasonably low price and then saunter back home with goods restored, if a mite poorer. The neighborhood fully agreed that was a lot better than having to find expensive substitutes. Now it's a real estate office. Those were the days. To a couple, both marrying for the first time in their 8th decade. Who knows the boundaries of love? The young have not yet had the time to examine the many joins of loving. They can barely imagine the wheres, surely not yet the whys. It takes the experience to find the balance, the splendor of understanding, the pleasure of knowing what works in harmony, and in so doing makes you smile. I marvel at your courage as you embark upon a common voyage into the glowing sunset of your years, arm in arm and all flags flying. Let us raise a glass to honor the laughing bravery of two who had long sought and at last found a steady arm, a well-anticipated embrace, and a love that honors the hopes of both. For a sweet and welcome union evermore. Bravo. Remembering perfection. The air is cool in the shade at our hidden lily pond, invisible from city traffic, visible only to us. You are kneeling at the water's edge, pulling out muck. Nearby in the dappled sunlight, I am lying in our hammock, watching the ripple of mussels on your back as you work, carefully cleaning out our secret pond. A haze of small insects hover over you, glittering in the sunlight. A koi mulls what your knuckles might taste like. Perhaps our frog will leap out. What do I most remember of this halcyon moment? Surely, until eternity itself fades into night, I will remember how our hearts entwined on this still and perfect day at the water's edge in our hidden pond. Wish you wasn't here. Why the hell you hanging around my mind? You messin' where I don't expect you none. Not invited. You keep on strutting straight into my thoughts when my back was turned. You got a nerve. Like you belong here. Mighty comfy, ain't you? Daring me. Can't seem to rouse you like I ought to. Once and for all. Oh my. What do the neighbors think? Please look. I have no curtains at all. I don't care if they see me dancing in my nightie, playing the piano with feathers in my hair, making a mock growling, leaping attack on you. Let them look in on you, even if their paltry, shadowed pleasure lies only in being shocked by the shameless hussy next door. Oh, find my books.
Your books are right here.
My last hurrah.
Your books.
the grand finale. A la Hunter Thompson, I'd love for my ashes to be hurled aloft in a pyrotechnic grand finale, one last moment of splendor. Oh, yes, indeed. I want to go up in a plume of smoke, spiraling to the heavens, laughing all the way. I want to explode in one last brilliant fountain of twirling red sequin sparks on my rocket bursts, one glorious last chance to charm and dazzle as the pour of sound and shimmer streaks across the night skies. My ashes will soar and tremble, pulse and dissolve in a slow, glowing cascade, a few fire fingers gently sweeping down to touch the earth, the soft cheek of earth. The night will weep the skyscape clean of my last pinpoint moment of flame, and it will be over forever, only its echo remaining, imprinted somewhere near your heart, my love. Next morning, the world will rise and hurry out the door as if nothing at all had changed. But you, my love, and perhaps a few charmed others, won't forget my rocket show and will smile, remembering my life, the fun I had, and the fun of my stupendous end, and that's just fine with me.
Is that it?
Radiance reflected. When we have left our bed and I am smoothing out the empty bedclothes, I can still feel the warmth of our bodies held within the sheets, magical and poignant. I smile at our secrets. Dreams. Brushing my hair in the moonlight, I smooth memories, plaiting them into a crown to wear in my dreams, weaving their dark, rough skeins into silk. The boundaries of heaven are my headboard and my footboard, the firmament of my luck, of my love for you. All beyond is unseen, unfelt. I hope that God will cherish the gatherer. I am hoping that along with those who proudly, publicly live lives of downsized superiority, of devotion to the purity of emptiness, a gathering soul may claim its own validity. I am hoping for a God who knows that a void promises little to the heart, and that the hollow emptiness of a vacuum allows no echoes to be cherished or remembered. I am hoping for a life of exuberant variety, a relishing the melding of common links into a lush beauty never before imagined by one who sees surprises as worthy and value fun's complexity. I am hoping that complexity and order conjoined may be as deserving, as holy as the devout lives of those who hate the rebellious challenge of heaps, equal to those who lead lives dedicated to removal and elimination. I am hoping that a God who has filled an entire universe with stars, each different, is a God who can accept complexity with gusto, who cherishes the collector.
So it's one of these things where it's so hard to, you just want to celebrate and snap and clap. Susan, you're such a wonderful talent and have such a captivating sort of talent with the pen. Like I appreciate you being here and sharing with us women incognito, or goddesses incognito, by the way. Like that exploded my mind. I just want you to know that we're tight on time, so I can't celebrate you for as long as I would like. We have a panel that's starting at 8 and we have one more poet to go, but thank you so very much, Susan, for being here today. You were amazing, right? Absolutely. And so, because we only have limited time, I am going to forego the bio on Kevin. Kevin won the DC Poet Project in 2019 and is a force, man. He's a force when he walks in a room, and I know he's going to be a force when he steps on a Zoom today. So, without further ado, Kevin, if you're here, can you please bless us? All right. I think you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, I got you. Let's do it.
If you don't mind, can I borrow your iniquities? Since my sins are so much greater and heaven has no room for me, could you loan me your transgressions? See, my sexual prowesses are so detestable that I need to prove that I am worthy of a straight man's blessing. Christian, let me borrow your passive aggression so I can somehow learn the lesson that Jesus loves me, but you will burn in the name of the Lord. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. Let me borrow your discord, Christian. How can you use your Bible as a double-edged sword and think that both of those testaments will only pierce me? Or is judgment only reserved for those of you heterosexuals who sin so beautifully? Wouldn't you agree? Would you loan me your audacity, your ability, your nerve, the capacity to love and hate all in the same breath? See, my plea is simply to be sure, happy, and wanted as myself, so I feel that somebody owes me some confidence. Because after hearing all the reasons that I am not worthy of his mercy, I have no certainty except for in the fact that I've been robbed of all of it. Christ paid it all, but didn't factor in the cost of me. Somebody, please. My soul is set to burn eternally. Would you loan me your iniquity so I can pretend to be better? See, my sexuality somehow severed ties to the Savior. So could you do me a favor? Touch your neighbor and ask him to grace me with a bit of his grace, since Jesus couldn't afford me, and heaven strike homos from his budget and adjusted it just to make room for you the virtue and perfect insufficiency. But I wouldn't mind seeing those streets of glory. Would you mind holding on to my purgatory just for a second so I can peek into your promise? See, I'm so honest that I give your paradise back to you, but you're so willing to snatch mine away from me. You're that same thief in John 10:10 that comes to kill and destroy, but somehow you still carved out life abundantly. You're so high above me, even with your gluttonous way of fucking me, your fornication and adultery, your lies from the pulpit and your sodomy and secrecy, preacher. Let me borrow your teachings as you pray for my delivery, not to your guide, but still on your knees. Can I borrow the lies that excrete from beneath your teeth so I can misuse forgiveness and its power, so I won't cower at the idea of being forsaken? I know this is blatant and selfish in me to ask, but since you sin so much better than me, can I borrow your iniquities? Where's my manners? And excuse my urgencies as I can see that you clearly are not done with them yet. And I'll squeeze in one more quick piece I think I have time for. I'm sorry, but I can't give you something that I've yet to find. I've searched dimensions in aforementioned bedrooms and cum-stained sheets, searching for pieces of me amongst the thread count, amongst the head count of bodies. Like a serial killer's gun, I got a record full of bodies, so many that I can no longer identify me. I am broken spirits, broken skin, broken head post broke within. I am limbs and lost logic in the lust of night. I am bright smile with dark soul. I am holed up in bedpost, breathing ghost, hosting body parties, coding body fluids, secretion and DNAs, slave to this trade called sex, but I wasn't sold. I was simply given away to mingle souls and slap skin, dead in bed with strangers so foreign but close enough to be my next of kin. Body dismissed from bedrooms, but particles of me are still scattered among them, divided upon them. Rapunzel, let down your hair so I can ascend from them. I'm lost in location and don't know where to begin looking. Still searching for the pieces with heavy hearts beating, bodies leaking, bed frames creaking as we are spurting and skeeting upon sheets, performing in this crime scene of carnal desires as our souls leak upon sheets, sexually fluid and free, but not really. I am displeased, I am diseased, I am conjoined Siamese with unidentified beings that's attached themselves to me, and I've housed them deep within. I lost the copyrights to my life and my body when I sacrificed my skin. Thank you.
Hey, Kevin, man, what's up? It's so good to see you.
Okay, good to see you as well.
Thank you so much for like closing us out on such a powerful note. You know, I also, right, like we only got 2 minutes left and I got to ask you a question. Is that a picture of you behind you?
Oh, yes. The sanctuary.
Hey, you got
to have the most high.
Amazing.
You got to let me borrow your confidence. That's what I.
That's a mood, by the way.
that is amazing, right? Well, listen, we don't have much time. We have 2 minutes, and I want to make sure that we transition out of here. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Mecca. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, John. Today was such a wonderful event. We were so happy to be here with you. I am Aaron Holmes, and on behalf of Robert Bettmann and Day 8, we want to thank Sean and everyone at 1455 for this wonderful panel. For those of you who are here for the 8 o'clock, we appreciate you spending a half an hour with us and hope that the rest of your night is as like powerful as what just took place here. I'm sure it will be. And so without further ado, I am going to pass this back over to Sean. But before I do, please like visit us at day8.org. Look for us across all social media platforms. And I put everyone's work in the chat if you are interested in hearing more from the poets that you heard from today. Please spend a few bucks with us. It would be great, right? And so that is all I have. Thank you so very much. Sean, are you still with me?
I am here, my friend. I'll tell everyone else what I told you privately. You have just unwittingly signed up to be my MC for all future events. Thank you so much for keeping us on time, for lending us your beautiful voice and presence. I want to thank all the poets, and I've got 2 promises that I can make and keep. All of these sessions are being recorded, so we're going to be able to savor this on the 1455 site forever as soon as we upload everything. And I would like to invite all of these poets to throw down with me again at a date to be decided in the near future. Well, I'll be able to give you all more time, and we'll dedicate a whole evening to hearing some beautiful spoken word, because I was very moved, and we already have elevated the proceedings. I'm so honored and grateful for all of you for sharing your talent. I wish you the best, and I thank you for being here.